want to talk to you a little bit about a rally that happened in Los Angeles this weekend. And the reason why I bring it up is because it's something that I told you was going to happen. We're repeating the mistakes of the 1930s. There was a Michigan group. They're neo-Nazis. They believe all kinds of things like all white immigration must be prevented. We demand that all non-whites currently residing in America be required to leave the nation forthwith and return to their land of origin peacefully or by force. Can I ask you a question? Is there anybody sane that believes this? Is there anybody in the sound of my voice that's watching this show that believes this? You know, if you are watching, you're like, well, yeah, turn the channel. The media is going to try to paint these people as Tea Partiers. They're going to try to paint these people as the right. Let's go for the truth now, okay? What is their real name? Do you know what the Nazi Party really is? National Socialists. National keyword Socialists. Wow, I thought the right was against socialists because the right wants small government. Unless you're a progressive, then you do want that big government. Okay, so now who showed up? On the right, as the media will tell you, it was the Nazis. On the left, no one will tell you it was Answer LA. These are communist and socialist. And violence, what a surprise when you get the communists and the Nazis together, violence might break out. Bottles and rocks were hurled, cars were smashed up. Yeah, it didn't look at all like a tea party. One man was chased and beaten bloody. Do you remember the train track thing that I told you about? In fact, you have, Sarah, there it is, yeah. Remember I told you how America took its own track, and then the progressive movement bent it back down. They're European tracks. The European tracks, there's no freedom. There's rulers. There's kings and queens or fascist dictators. That's what it is. In America, it was different. We were the tracks, the individual. And you kept the government as small as you could. Well, the progressives around 1900 started turning these tracks back down to the European track, which is communist on the left and Nazi on the right. Okay? That's what it is. This is European. Do you think that all Democrats, do you know Democrats? I do. I'm trying to think who my family members are that are Democrats. Most of them have quickly left the Democratic Party. But I know Democrats. I know liberals. I don't think they're all communists. These are not Democrats. This is the left and the progressive left, not Democrats. This is the progressive right, not Republicans. These two categories come from Europe, right and left. They have nothing to do with America. It's the fundamental transformation. The progressive left and right. Remember, the neo-Nazis, National Socialist. You'd put that on the left in America. Answer LA, what do they advocate? Socialism. It's the same people. They're just trying to decide who rules over you. The press is trying to make you believe the Nazis are standing up for your side. I have news for you. You're not in this picture. You're nowhere in this picture. If you're in this picture, you're a danger to society. This is why I say you can't stand there. You can't stand where they're putting you because they're putting you in a box with Nazis. And Democrats, you're being put into boxes with communists. That's not who you are. We have to stop with the R&D stuff. We have to stop with the Republicans and Democrat stuff. And I know, I've done my fair share of this. We've got to stop. We've got to stop. Does anybody else in this country feel they're driving a wedge between us? We have to become our grandparents. It is time to do our duty with honor, to stand up for the Republic and stop playing the games. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Communism and Nazism, They're both socialism. They don't belong here. The more we play, the Republicans did it, the Democrats, where are you now? The more we don't notice that the Nazis and commies are the same. And it stops us from addressing the real problem. The real problem is the fringes of society are now starting to take our country over because we're too busy on other stuff. I don't know if all the Democrats get that yet. Some Republicans are still playing the game. But we have radicals controlling the agenda. Do you remember the communist rallies from the 1930s we showed you? And the Nazi rally? Do you remember these? The social justice that was used for propaganda? Oh my gosh, you should see how the media is spinning this stuff on social justice. It's a game. I don't think you're playing a game, and I'm not playing a game. We have from Baltimore the 2010 NAEA National Convention, where the artists are working on art and social justice. Anytime there's a nut job who tries to commit acts of violence, the media immediately attempts to identify them with the right. So what do? What do I do? What do Americans do? You change your thinking. Change your thinking. Do not get sucked into this game. Change your life. Take all the crap that you've done in the past. If somebody says, where were you? Doesn't matter. I don't think Jesus comes to you. When you come to him and say, okay, I get it. I want forgiveness. He's like, well, where were you last Saturday night? I think you were drunk, mister. He doesn't say that. He's like, oh, thank God you're here now. Did you know that the militia that recently got raided, only one person in that militia had any political identification, and they were a Democrat. And do you know who turned that militia in that were trying to kill cops? Another militia. Well, if you got a good militia and a bad militia, doesn't that cancel each other out? How can the good militia that turned them in not be raving about how they're heroes? Because the press doesn't understand what a militia is. They forget the first militia was started by Ben Franklin. We'll remind you of that and so much more next. Are being drawn, and I think a foundation is being laid down, and you are being painted as a very scary, well, the neo-Nazis. Very scary, anti-government, racist, Timothy McVeigh waiting in the wings. That's who they want you to believe you are. Do not accept it. Peace and love in your hearts. Just tell the truth. The truth is, Tea Partiers are not racist, they're not violent, they're just not silent anymore, and that's it. And the left is lining up against you. Remember, the radicals in today's administration, the radicals have connections to everybody. And who is assembling? Well, first, let's go to the riots with the Nazis. Supposedly an anti-war group, International Answer. They have aligned with members of the Workers of the World Party. Oh, wait a minute. Andy Stern, Workers of the World Unite, get out of here. Many of its leaders are current members of the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Liberation of what? La Raza, which, I mean, you want to talk about a racist statement. If I called an organization the race, wow, that's... Anyway, La Raza supports driver's license for illegal aliens. I'm not for that. They oppose any cooperation between local law enforcement and federal authorities, such as immigration and customs enforcement and enforcing U.S. immigration laws. Why wouldn't you want them working together? Then you have MS-13. This is a bloodthirsty, this is a notoriously violent drug gang who is often left behind dismembered corpses, decapitated heads. I mean, it's bad. Recent Texas case had a member admit the murder elevated his status. He said, hell yeah, the crazier you're known to be, the more respect the gang gives you. My name in the street is Psycho. Okay, Psycho, thanks for your testimony. No more questions.